Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Jackson. This is Chapter 2, Section 2, and in this video we're going to practice converting the standard form of a quadratic function into the vertex form so that we can use that form to graph the function. Okay, so we have a function here in standard form. Before we start the conversion, let's first kind of figure out what information we can get from here. So we know that a equals 3, b equals negative 12, and c equals 2. From a here, we can see that it's positive coefficient. So we know we have an upward facing u, and a is greater than 1. So we know we have some kind of vertical stretch going on, meaning it's taller and skinnier than the parent. One other piece of information we can get right away from the standard form is we know what our y-intercept is. And the reason we know that is because the y-intercept always happens when x equals 0. In other words, all along the y-axis, x equals 0. So if we substituted that in to our function, then our output, the first two terms, the x squared term and the negative 12x term, would reduce to 0. So our y-intercept is always going to be c. And that's true for not just quadratic functions, but many other functions that we'll talk about throughout the year. Okay, so let's start looking at how we can convert this to the vertex form to help us graph. So we know our vertex is a minimum here because it's upward facing. Our vertex is HK, which is an X and a Y. All right, so step 1, we're going to find H. And in the previous video, we learned that H equals negative B over 2A. So I'm going to substitute in. I've got a negative 12 over 2 times 3. So our H is going to be a positive 12 divided by positive 6, which is going to be 2. All right, on the previous video, I said the easiest way to get K would be just substitute that 2 into our function and figure out what the corresponding output, or Y value, will be. So I've got y equals 3x squared minus 12x plus 2. I'm going to substitute in my positive 2 here for x. Figure out what the corresponding y is. I have to perform my exponent first, so this is 3 times 4, or 12. And if I sum these numbers together, I get negative 10. And so that negative 10 is our K value. It is the Y, or the output, when X is at the vertex. So I'm going to go ahead and write this over here. So our vertex now we found is at 2, negative 10. So finally, we're just going to put the whole function together. And a is a, as we mentioned in the previous video. So g of x equals 3 times x. Now our function has moved to the right 2. We know that that means we're subtracting 2 in here from the x value, and we're going down 10. So first, let's graph what we know. Okay, so let's start graphing what we know so far. So we have a vertex at positive 2, negative 10. And we know our y-intercept is up at 0, 2. If I drew our line of symmetry, which we know is going to go right through that vertex. If I make my line of symmetry, already I can see that when I move 2 units to the left of the vertex, I'm up at positive 2. So I can also, just through my knowledge of symmetry, move 2 to the right from my vertex, and I know I'm also going to be up at positive 2. But let's take a look at the effect of that stretch factor of 3 and how can we get some more points. So I thought we could look at it from anchoring of the vertex perspective, which is my preference, or you can look at it from the entire function. So here, let's take a look at a few points to the left of the vertex and to the right of the vertex. So kind of think of the vertex as being the center. So everything is from the perspective of the vertex. So if I just say, here is my vertex, it's at 2, -10. I'm going to look at this as going 1 left, 1 unit left, 2 units left, and 1 unit right, and 2 units right. And we have a stretch of 3, so I'm going to look at this from the perspective of I'm going to ignore everything else here, and I'm just going to look at it as 3 onto my parent function, x squared. So if I substitute in 1 into this x here, I'll say 3 times a -1 squared, that's going to give me 3, and I'm going up. It's positive. And if I put in -2 for going left -2, and I square that, that's going to be 3 times 4, or 12 up. And of course, with the symmetry, I'm going to end up on the same thing when I go to the right of the vertex. So I'll have 3 up and 12 up. So this just helps you graph or find some points that you could put on the graph. And let's zoom up here. And so what's happening here? When I go 1 left, we said we're going, so let me use the highlighter. When I go 1 left, we're going to go up 3 units from that vertex. So I can graph that. When I go 1 right, we're going up 3. And we lucked out, we didn't have to find this because we knew our y-intercept, but when I go 2 to the left or 2 to the right, we're going up 12 units. And you can see where that's coming from. So with those 5 points, that gives you a nice, good enough information to draw a nice sketch of this function. And if you didn't like to look at things from the perspective of the vertex, you can always use just real points here and substitute into your total function. And by that, what do I mean here? You could put in our vertex here is 2. Let me undo that here. So x is 2, and our output is -10. We know our vertex. Our function here, I'll just put here so you can easily substitute some numbers in. If I put in 1 and 0 here, going 1 to the left and 2 to the left, I can substitute these numbers directly into this function. So if I put in the number 1 here, I have 1 minus 2 is -1. -1 squared is 1, times 3 is 3, and 3 minus 10 is -7. If I substitute in 0 here, we already know that -2 squared is 4, and 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 minus 10 is 2. Likewise, I can go 1 to the right of the vertex and 2 to the right of the vertex. So if I substitute in 3 here, 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. And 3 minus 10 is -7. And I could substitute in 4 here. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. And 12 minus 10 is 2. So you can also just get a table of ordered pairs for yourself to graph. So it's somewhat a preference here on how you'd like to deal with the stretch. I like to anchor, my personal preference is anchoring off of the vertex. But if that confuses you, you can always make your own table of ordered pairs and just plot those pairs. One final thing here is that, if I haven't already, this function is going on and upwards infinitely, so we should have arrows there. Okay, I hope this video helps. This is how we convert standard form to vertex form and use that information to graph the function. Thanks for listening.